All right, let's do this.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Sister Podcast. We're hosts Jamie
and Julie, identical twins living different lives. We're on a mission to grow in faith, have real conversations, and create community.
So join us, take a listen, and be encouraged.
Hey everyone, it's Julie here with Sister Podcast, and
hey guys, this is Jamie.
And we are so excited and so grateful that you guys decided to join us today on whatever platform you're listening on. Today is going to be really fun, life updates and all the things, and also talking about sibling relationships, adult sibling relationships. And Jamie's really passionate about that, so she's excited to share a little bit more. But first, we're just going to kind of get into our life and some updates that we have and go from there. So Jamie, what's been going on with you lately?
Goodness. Some of you know and some of you don't know, I have 3 beautiful boys and a husband that's been my high school sweetheart. Been married almost 12 years, I guess. Ooh, it's weird to say that, but
it's very weird.
I hope no one can guess my age. No, I'm actually proud. I'm 31, so I am proud to be 31. Getting older is a gift, not a burden. Anyway, so yeah, I'm always super busy with the boys. The past week and a half, so we had spring break, but technically we stayed inside the house because everyone got the flu. And it was crazy because it's like one of us got it, and then at the end, because we all end up having our flu shots, and so we had about a 3-day span of it. But it seemed like after one of us got it and was getting over it, then the next person got it. Mm-hmm. And then it was 3 days later, then the next person got hit. And I mean, me and Sawyer, which is my middle, he's 7, him and I shared that together. So it was a beautiful thing. We were able to share the flu together and go through that, but everyone else got it separately. So
yeah, it's that time of year.
Yeah, that time of year. But it's been like, has anyone else seen that their fall run into their winter has just been like a weird sickness? Like everyone's just been sick. This year has been rough for us. So I don't know. We're taking our vitamins, but it's hit us hard.
Yeah, it's crazy because living here now, I live in Florida now, and I have noticed so much that we've been here for almost 11 months. And we have not got a single thing, like no allergies, no headaches, no
I'm
flu.
knocking on wood everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's interesting that change of environments will do that to you. But for us, we've been busy. We just bought a house, and we're excited. Apartment living is not the most fun. But I'm grateful that we were able to be down here and snag a home quickly because the market's crazy. So anyway, we've been busy doing that. We're super grateful that we can make it a place where people can come visit, where you guys can come visit, of course, and just have a little beach vacation. So that's been really crazy. A lot of work goes into that behind the scenes that people don't even understand. So it's been kind of nuts.
Yeah, but it's almost like you take on it's just like wedding planning. Like people don't understand how hard it is until you really start doing it, and you have to change so much and talk to so many people and wait for so many people.
Yeah.
When you buy and sell a house or just even buy a house, that it's almost, we definitely should have had a course in high school about like this is going stuff's going to hit the fan and you're going to need to be prepared. And every time, like, because I've bought and sold numerous houses, and every time it's never the same. It never gets easier. So
it's frustrating.
You guys.
Yeah, it's frustrating at times. But actually this week I thought about a few things. Actually, moving from Indiana to Florida has been a culture shock in itself.
Yeah.
It's been it's crazy how you grow up in one place, but some things that would be acceptable there are not here. And so customer service and how people drive and all the things, it's been crazy.
But side note really quick, Ju, like me and you, I know fact 100% is same on page on this, is customer service is top priority in our life. And I can't explain it. I don't know why, but just being friendly to someone, no matter what you're going through, because, you know, like your sunshine gets caught by someone else. So and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but fun fact, like people don't know that, but like that's our biggest thing is, you know, not that the customer's always right, but come on, like that's
and you
people, you know?
And you advocate for people. I just don't have, sometimes I'm like, oh Lord help me, because I don't have room for people who don't do their job or do it well and effectively and the quality of service. And anyway, so it's just been a trip for that. But we thought about it today actually, and we thought, you know, I wonder how this feels like culture shock for me. I wonder how people feel when they step into a church for the first time or accept Christ for the first time, and how that journey begins. Like it's a culture shock because it's not like society in the world, you know. And so the Lord's kind of just been pressing on me, and like I'm just been really thinking about that a lot lately. Of, you know, if someone does come to know Jesus right now in 2022, what does that look like? Especially me as a disciple of Christ. What is that going to look like for me? And how do I witness to someone like that and continuously disciple them so they can therefore make disciples? So anyway, that's just been on my heart lately.
Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful thing though. I mean, and even to recognize that is so powerful too. I don't know. It's just, man, it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to find the words to even describe. I mean, you did the best just describing that, but yeah, it's just been crazy. And like how you were saying culture shock, I definitely want to have a full episode about like how different it is living in Florida compared to the Midwest, you know, in Indiana. But, you know, going back to the sickness, when you were saying that you guys haven't really got anything, and a lot of people don't know this, but where we live at in Indiana, in southern Indiana, it's like we're in a valley, and we live close to, you know,
power plants,
power plants, you know, just different types of pollution around us, not just a power plant or anything. You know, there's other things. But you know, I had an allergist tell me that just a few months ago that I don't have any allergies. So I constantly get sinus infections, which will turn into like an upper respiratory infection. And he's like, hey, you're not allergic to anything. Like you don't need to take Zyrtec or whatever all the time. He's like, it's where you live. You have, it's not, because I got tested. He's like, you have no allergies. Like it's just where you live. It's irritants. And I'm like, well, this is proven because my sister moved to Florida. And, you know, her husband struggles with that. And you do too, Julie. I know you've always have too.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Totally different now. Totally different.
Yeah. So Florida's sounding even better to me.
There's a lot of good things. There's some, you know, there's balance there for sure. But I'm excited though to talk today a little bit more too about our sibling relationships and adult sibling relationships, and what does that look like from when you're a kid to now, us obviously being 31, and older adults too that have a sibling. So what's been on your heart, Jamie, about that?
Yeah, and I don't know why this has been on my heart. I mentioned to you, Julie, a few times this past week about it, and even before. I don't know if someone needs to hear this. So if you're listening out there, and you're struggling with your relationship with your siblings, or you just kind of are interested in what other people, how they tackle being siblings as adulthood, I feel like that's not ever talked about. You know, you could talk about how your childhood was with your siblings, if you were, always butt heads if you guys are best friends, if you really weren't. But then what does that look like once you become an adult and you go through these different seasons of life, like when you get married, when you have your first children, if someone goes through something rough, like the praises and the lows and what that looks like for everyone. Is it different, culturally? Is it different in different areas of even, the United States or I don't know why that's on my heart, but I'm curious to see what others say that their relationships are. If you're close with your siblings. So for example, I want to touch base really quick so we have an older sister, her name's Jessica, and then obviously it's Julie and I, and we talk all the time. If we don't speak to each other on the phone once or twice a day, then there's an awesome app called Marco Polo. I think Jessica said it's kind of like a Snapchat, but it's... I don't know.
I don't have Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm not a big... People are going to come for me, but I am not a big fan of Snapchat.
Yeah.
But Marco Polo is amazing. So we use that to communicate with each other. But like Jessica talks to me before she goes to work, when she gets off work, I talk to you 2 or 3 times a day. And I just wonder, is that not normal for other people? I mean, what do you think, Julie? Like, do you think that's normal for relationships?
I mean, I think it honestly depends on your family unit. And what I mean by that would be something like our family growing up, we were all very open and close, and we had those family dinners at the dinner table. I'm not saying you have to or not, but it definitely, when you break bread with people at a dinner table and there's nothing else distracting you besides the person that you're eating in front of, there's a whole different level of oneness, Yeah. So, eating at the table, I remember this, and our parents, they might not say that they were, but I think they were, growing up, especially, under the age of 12, we really actually had really strict guidelines, especially for Christian faith wise. But I remember getting, I think it was Focus on the Family, actually, the VCR or VHS tapes. And they would have questions on the back. Do you remember that? Like Caddy Woodlawn. Do you remember?
Yeah, I love that show.
So Caddy Woodlawn,
which is a show that's like super old, and I don't even know if anyone else in the world has seen it. Julie, I can't even believe you just referenced like a show that
it's okay. There's a point, y'all. There's a point.
It's like Little House on the Prairie, but as a movie, really short.
There's a lot of anyway. Just YouTube it. Just YouTube it. But anyway, the point of that is like our parents really focused on like actually the family unit, right? So I remember Mom would, turn over the VHS tape and ask the questions on the back because it was like a Christian family thing. Anyway, so I think growing up and having that, we all communicated very, very much together. We knew what was going on in each other's lives. Our parents wanted to know what was going on. Like, it wasn't just a parent sibling or parent and an adult sibling, whatever relationship. It was just everyone was one. Does that make sense?
It does, because this might sound weird to some people, but they have the 5 love languages. And if you don't know what that is, that's words of affirmation, gifts. Julie, you're gonna have to help me. Gifts, words of affirmation,
time,
touch, and 5th. I'm losing it here.
I don't know. The book is a teal, really pretty book by Gary Chapman. That's who, right?
Okay.
I think I'm like 100% right on that. Gary Chapman.
Anyway, so I feel like our family was like that. It's like we all knew each other's love languages, and even if we didn't, I feel like Mom and Dad were really good about hitting all of our love languages. And this is such an open family, and we knew what each other's opinion were about things. We validated each other's opinion about stuff. If we didn't agree, then that's fine. Like, we're gonna love you through it. We were very much a very cuddly, lovey, huggy family, very vocal. But really both sides of our not intermediate, but families
Extended family. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very vocal about things.
But I think also we live in such a small town and small area that literally all of our close family and extended family, we're all within 20 miles of each other. I mean, that is a huge difference.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier with Florida culture shock, like it blows my mind that I have to remember that people don't grow up like that. Like that might not be normal to other people. So I feel like our family, like we were very open. Mm-hmm. I will give, a lot of props to our mom, because I feel like our mom was very good about being open with us and never hiding things, never like sugarcoating things when it came to growing up or how we should feel about, not how we should feel about something, but it's okay to feel this way about things. Mm-hmm. So, very talkative. We're just very talkative family, very talkative sister circle that we have going between, me, you, and Jessica, and really our close friends. I feel like we're really open and talkative. Mm-hmm. We're not super scared to ask someone, major questions or their opinion on how they feel.
But that kind of goes too, though, with like we had talked about. I guess the point would be like the family unit, I think, is what derives adult siblings, how they're going to act, when they get older. But I do think that it's interesting to see now as an adult, being 31, looking back at how our parents instilled certain things for us to continuously be close. Like after 16 years old, usually people kind of have their own opinions and they're like, okay, I'm either close to one sister or one brother and not to the other. Alex, obviously my husband, he has a sister who is 7 years older, I think, or 9. And then he has a brother who's 14 years older than him. So that dynamic is completely different. And so there's not going to be as much closeness too, because of age, playing a huge factor.
And that might look different to other people. Some people might be like, hey, my brother or sister's a lot older than me, so I look to them for advice. But
it's kind of hard because we are a close family. So it's hard to look at other people and be like, how come that's not, what do you mean you don't talk to them every day? And we have some cousins. They're actually all 3 kind of near our age. And it's so funny because they also went to church with us. And we were all kind of near the same age, and they're also all close, and they're extended family as well. And so it's kind of cool to see, I guess, generationally with our family that we're all very close people. So maybe that's one reason why. But I think one thing too, people don't realize is when you are close as siblings, like Jamie and I are obviously the same age. She's 1 minute, right? You're 1 minute.
I was born at 9:13 and you were 9:14, and you will never live that down.
Okay.
I'm 1 minute older. And we'll continue to be the rest of your life. Okay.
Okay, perfect. And I think Jessica is 14 months older than us. I believe I always say 14 months, but I think it's 14 months.
I feel like it's 18 months older.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know calculations.
She's just older than us.
Anyway, she's older. But with her, it's just interesting because we're all close in age, so we're all going to have like the same things in life go on, like learning about things on the same pace and stuff like that. But when you have siblings that are either super young compared to you or older than you, you're not in the same season of life as them. So Alex was a child when his brother essentially got married. That's a totally different season. So I think it's pretty cool too to see the seasons of life when it comes to siblings. And I mean, even us, like we're really close, obviously, but all 3 of us are completely different in our lives right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I just got to thinking about when we were younger, that like me and you obviously have always been close, no matter if we that we're twins. We just we just naturally just have a closeness. But we were involved in different things growing up and just had different personalities. And Jessica, I feel like for me, I wasn't as close to Jessica. You know, we kind of butt heads and things like that. But now Jessica and I are kind of in the same season of having younger children, being, you know, wives, and living in the Midwest together, and navigating some things. And I've had a part to play where I was able to kind of be the big sister to her, you know, when she first had a baby and when she goes through things, because I'm kind of a little bit ahead of her when it comes to, because my kids are older. Some people might not know this, but I did get married at 18 and have my first baby at 21. And then I don't know how old Jessica was with her.
She's 25, right?
Yeah. So I had my second by then. So I have been able to kind of take on a different role, I guess, when it comes to that. So that's made us a lot more close, which is really great. And even though Julie, you know, you're not in that season of having, you know, children yet, but it's neat that you're able to help me more with my Christian walk. You're able to help me even understand. I'll come to you about, you know, even just being overwhelmed, or, you know, the other day I said something about like, yeah, I went to church, or I went somewhere, and then, you know, what does that look like for, you know, a mom that, you know, my husband works a lot. So what does it look like for a mom that takes 3 kids and goes somewhere? Do I want to sometimes? No, absolutely not. Am I, you know, exhausted? But then you turned it around and gave me good advice and was like, hey, you're showing obedience to the Lord, and he sees that, you know?
Yeah.
So you're able to help me in that certain way. And I think that's neat. I hope other people, you know, I think of like brothers, like my boys are all, they're all boys. I hope they have this closeness. I hope they know they can pick up the phone every day and talk to their sibling on their way to work, on the way home from work. You know, I don't know if it looks like that for everyone. It kind of makes me sad.
It does make me super sad to know that there are brothers and sisters out there that don't speak for whatever reason that is. Our parents always taught us that regardless of where your friends go and what friends come and go in your life, your sisters will always be your best friends. And I really, truly believe that, because when you get older, especially, it's like your life is so busy, you barely have time for your own family, let alone a lot of friends. And so it's usually just your spouse and then your sisters or your brothers that you.
But not only that, but it's like who can share that childhood moment with you? Like, you know, you talk about cousins and you're close with your cousins and they shared stuff, but it's so different when someone grew up with you and was there, like when you got in trouble, but when you had your, you know, your high, you know, your high points in life, that's walked with you in valleys or went through struggle, you know, if your family struggled and then, you know, came through. Like it's such an intimate thing that people, I just feel like people don't talk about. And I have, I would say distant cousins, but I think they're like third or fourth cousins, and they're girls, you know, they're all sister girls. They're all sisters. And I know, like, I've always looked up to their relationships that they have with their mom and then within each other, and have helped each other and been there, you know, each other's biggest supporters. And that's normal to me because that's how we are. And they're vocal about that. And you can see, you know, like on Facebook or Instagram, their love that they have for each other. But I feel like I don't see that a lot. And you know, maybe people are just, you know, I guess we tend to just bear it all and let people see, you know, we're open books. But why aren't people so open about that? Like sometimes, Julie, I really feel like I only see, oh, that person's sibling just because they were in my wedding. And other than that, you never see them post. I'm like, oh, they had a brother? Oh, they had a sister? I want to know their name. What was their favorite color? Like,
or how many times were you like, I promise you, I'm not the only one that thinks like this, but did you go to school with someone? Obviously we went to school with the same people, but when you go to school with when you go to school with someone and then like a year or two later after graduation, you're like, wait, they have how many people in their family? They had a younger sister, and it's like, I thought they were only child, but like no one even talks that they have, brothers and sisters. I mean, Jessica, our sister, she didn't tell a lot of people that she had a set of twin sisters. Like I think she really just went solo after high school.
She just, held on to that only child syndrome for as long as she tried to.
What we weren't embarrassments or anything. It was just, I mean,
it was cool. People just
it's Jessica.
It's Jessica. It's our sister. We love her. Yeah, but no, I think that is crazy that you say that, because I think it's because we're detail oriented people, and not only that, but we invest in people. So
yeah,
I've talked to moms before where they're like, oh yeah, I didn't post on Facebook, that we were pregnant and that we were having, all the stages of pregnancy and things like that, which, that's another story. Like I get there's sensitive subjects to that and things. But I'm like, wait, if you did, if that were your choice, that you wanted to air that out and like show people, I'm investing, like, I invest in your life. Like if you get married to the man that you love, then like I'm excited for you. I might not ever have.
Jamie loves your story. She loves.
I love you. I love your story. I love your community-ness of your family and yourself. Like I invest, and if one of your babies is sick, like my heart is there. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's been up all night with that baby, and I'm just gonna pray for her today because I know how it is. Is that it's just like a Netflix show.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Invest in that show, and my heart will ache at the same time that those characters ache, because I will invest in you, and I love it.
Fully into the story. If I'm watching a movie, it's like I am that spy. I am,
and that I'm doing action things, and I'm looking around the corner when I
don't mess with me.
So I will invest in your life, just like we were talking about, with the Netflix shows. But I want to encourage people, if you don't have a sibling, if you've unfortunately lost your only sibling, even talk with your parents every day. I speak to, my mom and dad almost every day, or grab one of your really close friends and just hang on to that and talk to them. If it's not daily, maybe every few days, and to have that connection. I think it's so important. I think fills such a void in your life when you're going through what we've all went through the past few years and just life in general. I think it's so important. And I wonder if other people have done that,
Well, and I think if anyone out there, if you've ever been on a mission trip or a significant event with someone or spent significant time with people, you share an experience, right? You share a culture, you share whatever that is, a trip, maybe with your girlfriends or whatever, and that brings you closer. That also happens in your spiritual life as well, but the community that the Lord and the family that the Lord puts you in, that happens too. And I think a lot of times if we recognize that, we can say, okay, I see that, and I see that we can be close. I can see that we're all sharing this experience together. And I can look at Jamie, no joke, y'all. Like if you play, what's that one spinny game, Jamie, that Jessica loves playing? It looks kind of like the spin it bop it thing, but like you do categories, right? Categories is what I'm talking about.
You don't spin anything.
I know, but it looks like the old 90s version of the skip bop twist thing. Anyway.
You mean
it's called categories that you have
to thing you push the button, you have to hurry and go.
Yeah, it's called categories. So it's kind of like a charade thing, and you have to call out something. So like you pick sports, and then it's maybe says Indianapolis Colts, and you say Peyton Manning, and then you say it's the Colts. Anyway, so a lot of times we'll do that, and it's like we can look at Jamie or I can look at Jessica and we know exactly what we're going to say. And because we've had an experience together, because we know each other on that and that kind of deep level, that there's that closeness there. Do you know what I mean by that?
you know what the other, I get it, Julie. It's hard to describe.
It's like, it's just that they're in your brain. They're in your brain.
You are literally in mine, and you know that. I mean,
Yeah.
because we're identical twins and we share everything, not even vocally, but like we just, I can be in a room.
Yeah.
And we could probably have a full conversation just by looking at each other.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we
That's
did that
gonna
a
have to
lot.
be a different episode of
we did that a
crazy
lot in
twinness.
school. Because that can get us in trouble because we just look at each other like, and then we start laughing hysterically because we know exactly what each other is saying. Like, Mom.
And that was never like, I always wondered why our parents got upset. Not upset, but just like frustrated over it feelings when we would start our giggle episodes. And
I mean, they
now
still
that
happen.
now that my boys they're only 2 years apart. So like today they did the same thing. They were giggling so hard. I had to like, we were eating and I'm like, you guys are going to choke. And if you choke, that's going to be like terrifying to you. And it's going to be terrifying to me. Yeah. It's going to be terrifying to me. So you guys need to stop. And then they spit their food out and just continue to laugh. And I'm trying to enjoy my meal. And I'm like, okay, I'm over it now. And I can see why my parents would be frustrated when they would be trying to eat. And all they hear is,
oh my gosh. Well, even like in school, like we'd be in the same class, guys, with the same last name. So we're sitting right next to each other. And it was horrible in high school too, because I would just be so red. I would just laugh so hard. And everyone's like, you didn't say a word. It's too much.
Like right now, you're trying to keep it together so much that it's hard for you. I know, because
it's just a thing. But
why is it a thing?
It's just it is a twin thing, but it also, not every twin has this, and that's for another episode. But I have a new neighbor. She's 68 from Staten Island, New York, and she is through and through Italian. She is funny. And anyway, I said something about you today, and she's like, in her Staten Island voice, I can't even do it. She's like, I'm a twin too. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, are you close to your twin? And anyway, she's like, no, I'm nothing like Marie. I'm nothing like her. I'm like,
isn't it crazy though how you get people where they're either like really close to their twins or they don't want anything to do with them? We just came in this world together, guys.
We have the same DNA, but whatever. No,
yeah, that is different.
I can't imagine that. I also can't imagine, to be honest. I've never obviously lost a sibling before. My dad has lost a sibling when his brother was 17, and my dad was 20 when that happened. So I can't imagine there are people out there, and I'm so sorry if that's happened to you, if you've lost a sibling before, but I thought about that the other day. Like, we're still super young, but I can't imagine. Can you imagine? I just can't even. I cannot imagine.
Julie, I don't.
Not having my sisters.
I don't even want to think about that, because in my mind, I tell myself all the time, like, I just hope God comes in my lifetime and just we all just get wiped out at the same time and just go with him. So I don't have to have that mourningness, because I don't know how well I could handle that. And I've handled a lot of mourning and in my short 31 years, I feel like, and a lot of people don't know this, but I've mourned the loss of a baby. I've mourned the loss of my mother-in-law, who was a second mom to me, grandparents, just a lot of people. And I cannot imagine losing a sister, and nor do I even want to. I just tell the Lord, like, equip me when I need to, but I don't, man, I don't even want to, it just, I don't want those weird like juju vibes, like,
Yeah. No,
positive energy.
positive energy. I mean, there is something there too, because I think there are some people out there who wish that they maybe had a deeper connection with their siblings, and then now they can't. But like you said at the very beginning of the podcast, if that's the case for you, then lean into a friendship, lean into a mentor, and let that be that for you, because there is something really, really special about sisterhood or brotherhood. I mean, literally teammates, regardless if you're brothers or sister, when you're on the same team, it's the same thing, like a sister and brother relationship. You have a same goal, you have the same experiences, whether it's practice or, you when you're in a game, or going through something tough, they're right there with you. They're dealing with the same thing. So, don't want to be not positive, but there are people out there who do probably miss their siblings and need that encouragement too. And I think it's great that you brought that up at the very beginning. And maybe, honestly, maybe sibling stuff isn't talked about because life gets busy. I mean, we've had that too, don't you think? I mean, there's been times where I've been close with our older sister Jessica more than I have Jamie in seasons of life, maybe because of scheduling and things like that. I mean, Jamie's been raising babies for how many years?
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
We
Tucker's
are
10.
finally done, guys.
or
My
9.
husband got fixed, or as I would like to say, he got broken. And we are done. But I think that my entire 20s, I've been not, I guess I was 23 when I stopped working, the 9 to 5. So, my entire 20s I've raised babies, and honestly, my youngest right now is 2. So I can't say I'm not done raising babies, because to me, he still is a little, but I will say it's not even that I've been closer to one, not that I've been closer to Jessica at certain times than I have you. It's a different closeness.
That's good to put it.
Because times when I haven't been close to you, like maybe we don't talk as much because, you are working in a different schedule and something like that. But it's that intimate relationship that we have with each other, that no matter what, it's going to be as close as it doesn't matter if we haven't talked for a long time, or we have, we just have that closeness. It's going to be it's a bond. It's an instant bond. Now with Jessie, like, I have that closeness because we're sisters, but we don't have that, type of bond that me and you just engraved in our DNA have, because we are each other's other half. But with Jessie, I am super, super close to Jessie than I ever thought about being, with being in the same seasons. And we will always be in the same season of life, because we have children around the same age, and, we're wives, we live close to each other. And we take the time to see each other and things like that. But I feel like I'm just as close to you now, especially that you're gone. That, you're what, 700 miles away, that you can talk on the phone, like you talk on the phone with me all the time, because you're able to, because you don't, work the regular 9 to 5 job, that you're blessed to be able to stay at home right now. So it's just, I guess it's just a different level.
Yeah, that's really good to put it. All right, friends. So this is the first episode of our podcast. Just chit-chatted with Jamie here about sibling relationships and a little bit of life update. Encourage you very much, Sister Friendz, to reach out to your siblings today or this evening, whether it's a text, an email, a prayer, maybe, if they're not here on our side. Then we just encourage you to connect with them. Maybe it's this is your sign to patch things up, to forgive, maybe to give grace to them, but also lean into your relationship even further.
Yeah, and if you can't do that with a sibling, then we encourage you to do that with a cousin, with someone that has maybe been there from childhood on. Or
or sister
or if it's
friend.
a sister friend, or, you know, someone that you can just really trust and count on. It's so great to have someone in your corner. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we just don't want you to miss out on something like that. And you are in our prayers if you have lost a sibling. We mentioned earlier our father had lost a brother that he was super close to, and he still mourns that, you know, at the age of almost 60. And we see that and we feel his hurting. So we really, you guys will be on our hearts, and reach out if you want prayers or need prayers about that.
Exactly. And last thing here is this is a community. We really want to create a community here, and not just us talking to you, but we want you to talk to us and to other sister friends that may comment or like or share our videos or post or our podcast in general. So if you would, in the comments below, let us know how many brothers or sisters you have. Let us know if you're an only child and need a sister friend to talk to. So we hope to catch you in the next one, guys.
See ya.